Hi guys. Hi. I have so many things on my mind. Wait. Sorry, I got so distracted by the jewelry on my desk. I just wanted to put it on really quick. But anyway. Ooh. Okay. I don't know. The talking, meaning nothing and still. So I actually have some stuff on my mind that I want to talk to you guys about the concept of like spiritual businesses and stuff. Not about other people or anything. It's not actually criticism this time about anybody. Everybody's doing well on the planet and stuff. I don't know. Well, I hear stuff, but you know, maybe not things that are my business or that bad or whatever. I mean, there's probably people still doing something crazy out there, but what I mean is this is coconut water. That my grandma gave me, but yeah. I wanted to talk because I've never done readings for people that I like charged money for, and it got me thinking. It's not something I personally want to do right now, or any kind of like spiritual business is not necessarily like, as far as like there's ways that I want to do that in the future, which is kind of what I want to talk about. Wow, I really could have laid out my thoughts and just told you in a normal way. I'm just like, okay. I feel like I have streams of income that are just not making money already at the moment. So because I have so much on my plate, technically my YouTube channel in the future, after I like advertise it, could be making money for like AdSense or whatever, like to some degree. I just know that really depends on like exact view count, exact following, watch time. So, but like someday, you know, as far as having many albums out, if there ever were like a record label that wanted to do studio produced versions, if I had the right follower count and views and stuff, then they would consider me more. And especially because it would be sort of a trade-off with like, well, I need this from you and you need this from me, so like we've got to have negotiation room to figure that out, and you have to be kind of comfortable in your finances to even want to have that conversation and be able to advocate for yourself. I feel like some of the record label, we hear nightmares all the time. Some of the record label conversations don't even go well when people have enough security at the start to be able to advocate for themselves, let alone, you know, I don't want to think about, oh, am I going to sacrifice this or that? Am I going to change this and that? Like, for you, when I don't even know about financial security on my end anyways, like, whatever, that would be a lot. So, but that's technically like a stream of income. As far as audiobooks, even if I were super famous, I don't think the version of Horse Gluttony where there's sometimes an underscore and sometimes not an underscore would end up on like, I know some people do like Spotify and stuff. I don't see it going there in its form right now. I don't see it going there because of the way it is. There's not like something wrong with it. It's just that like I just recorded it on like Snapchat, you know what I mean? So, but it's great in the sense that people can still listen to it on YouTube. As far as if that ever made money, it would just be through like YouTube views. As far as the exact audiobook that's recorded, and I haven't even done the whole thing yet, but the whole book is like edited and ready. Okay, so the one way that I would be comfortable in the future if I were like famous or had like a lot of followers, if there were like a publishing house, probably one of the ones that are not a small one, because I know I'm a small artist, like why wouldn't I want to test something out? But like it's more like it would probably be a bigger one, because essentially they would have to just like transcript the video, type the whole thing out if they wanted to do a physical copy, if I were ever like really successful. But I wouldn't be reaching out to them to do it necessarily. Maybe if I were at a stage where I had like a team or something, then they could reach out to do it or whatever. Like it would be very like the last thing on my mind, but like it would be cool to have out there, like a physical copy that could be bought in bookstores. But again, it would have to be like probably a major publisher deal or something if I were going to be willing to even do it. Not, or major to me, like not like, oh, this is started in somebody's basement and like we don't know if this is gonna go well. Like they would have to be willing to like have like, you know what I mean, all their professional normal editors, and they'd have to literally type out the whole thing, because I'm probably going to delete the PDF on my phone after I put the whole entire Horse Gluttony book out in audiobook form. So it would have to be something that like they would want to do, because it would be more so a major investment. Like I own it, but the major investment would be like the time spent by like actual employees of the publishing company. So it's like, be realistic, like I'd have to be like really, really successful before it would make sense and be practical to do on my end or their end. So it would have to be like guaranteed this many copies are going to be sold before any of those conversations would even be there. And again, I would have to probably have somebody else reach out to them and have all of that planned out, because clearly when I tried to get Horse Gluttony published, it was like a zero success type situation, because I'm just me reaching out, so it doesn't like mean something. It's not like, here's my YouTube channel with 70,000 subscribers and 100,000 views like on each video or something crazy, you know, like that's like a different stature than here's my 1,000 subscribers with 3 views on every video. Like those are like not equally like, oh, I'm gonna return this email, you know. Those are like not on the same page. Those are so not on the same page. Those are so, like, what I would need, or what I have is, like, Antarctica. Like, but, like, yeah. Yes, all of the people in Antarctica probably watched my videos before. Okay, actually, lifetime views on my channel is over 500,000, but I have, like, 3,000 videos. Over 3,000 videos, probably, like, 4,000 or something. I don't know. 3,600, I don't know. So, and it's only like a few videos that got like 1,000 views. Like most of them are like 3 views. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that only because everything is spiritual, but oh, and then there's OnlyFans, but like that's sort of like, I'm barely making money off that. Well, actually one good thing, in 2025 I made like $1,000. I didn't even realize that. And then I looked on there and I was like, oh, this says 2025 was 1,000. Oh, that's actually the most, because like the most I ever made on that platform, despite having it for years, well, on and off, was like $2,000 total, like all time lifetime of having it. Like not in one, like all time amount is like $2,000. So, but just in 2025, it was $1,000. Technically over $1,000. It wasn't like $999. It was like technically over 1,000, which is actually way better than what I realized it was, because I was like, oh, I have like $30 like once every 2 weeks was like what it felt like. I was like, what am I doing? I didn't realize, oh, that's actually not bad. Obviously, it's like, I think it's more of like, if I were successful, I think I would keep that, but it's just like backup stream of income for like, I already have the content, might as well still like profit off of it. But it would be like, then I'm not necessarily like relying on the other ones, but the other ones I'd be like passionate about still, and like, you know what I mean? One stream of income wouldn't replace another one, but like, yeah. Also, though, I want to talk there's so many conversations. I think I've talked about it before, like how not profitable OnlyFans is. I mean, I did make $1,000 in 1 year, but that's actually, in the grand scheme of it, of the world, not a lot of money. But I'm in the top 49% in the world globally. And so what I want to say is that to make $1,000 in a year, I'm doing better than more than half of the people on the platform globally. So what I mean is that if there's a low success rate to even make the amount that I made, to even have an amount that you can like withdraw, because there's like a limit to it. It's like you can't withdraw under $20 or whatever. If your balance is over that, you could withdraw it, but then it takes like 7 days to even be able to hit withdraw, and then you have to wait like a week or something or for it to even enter your account. So there's different like things, but whatever. It's worth talking about, but that's not like what the conversation really was. Now I'm distracted. I guess I wanted to talk about different kinds of spiritual businesses because in the future, I probably will have more types of like spiritual business endeavors. I just have to be in the right place in life before I start that. I know a lot of people are like, well, if you don't do it yourself, like you kind of get dragged there, and I think that's so true. So I am mindful of that, but like I think there's so many different types of spiritual businesses. Actually, what I have done is spiritual paintings, but I only had one person buy one, but then that person ended up getting angry that I started an OnlyFans. And they left like angry comments about it, and I was like, oh. Which, like, no hate to them, I guess that's disappointing, but I don't know what's disappointing about that. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that person got mad about that. So I think it was a good reminder that like technically selling a like a spiritual painting is a spiritual business, and sometimes the boundaries can be like abnormal. But like it was never somebody I like chatted with, so that's why in any way, shape, or form other than like YouTube comments. So that was why I was sort of like it went over my head. But like I wasn't gonna not do that just because some people could get mad. Like I wasn't gonna not have one of my streams of income just because, especially when I don't have that many, just because some people could get mad. I don't think I was gonna do that. It doesn't make sense. It's fine. So, yeah. There's many different types of spiritual businesses people have. Lots of people do readings. Lots of people either use tarot cards or no tarot cards for readings. But there's so many different types, everything from that people do, not that I'm gonna do, because what I'm gonna do is gonna be like a way more concise list of whatever I'm best at. It's not gonna be like just because there's so many different types of spiritual businesses, there's so many different things I would have to like explore to know for sure like this is the thing I'm best at before it's like in exchange for money. I don't want to have like bad reviews, you know? Like I'm so like I care about that. Because I have other stuff going on. It isn't like I don't know. That's why I wanted to be in a place where it's not like literal survival necessarily to have the spiritual business, because I want to make sure that I'm making the right choices for it, not ruining my reputation before I even have one, if you will. So yeah. Which even my book Horse Gluttony does talk about twin flames. It's just way more fantasy and way more fun. Fun is like what? Way more just like fantasy, like made up, like super random, made up. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, people have so many types of spiritual businesses. Again, like people do past, present, future. People do like, what do you need to know right now? People do romantic readings. People do like soul readings, all of those. I don't think there's any type of like reading with or without tarot cards that I see myself charging money for and doing, but there's like other kinds of spiritual businesses people have where they will do different kinds of rituals or different forms of spells for clients that if I really tested and found out which kinds I feel the most comfortable selling, then I would be willing to do that. People do everything from group spells, people sell different forms of curses that they do, people have love spells they do, you know, every type of spell you can really do, sometimes with a deity, sometimes themselves because they're insanely powerful and the smartest people in the world, and sometimes they have to sort of have the help of a deity, which is also powerful. Both are probably the smartest people in the world because they found out they could do that and believed in it, and then it worked. So either way. But whatever, I don't know. There's a lot of people that people can follow in the footsteps of and be inspired by once you're like exposed to it. It doesn't mean you're doing like the same type of magic as somebody, because so I would never be like, oh, it's inspired by this and this and that, because then people would look at it like, oh, it's exactly the same, and like that's weird. Respectful boundaries. But yeah, there's so many different oh, people can just make a physical magical product. Like you can make a spell jar that's super pretty and has a really important purpose. I know there's people who do spiritual resin, which technically I'm not name dropping people in the video only because I was already going through the video not doing that, but I can make another video. I don't know, sometimes when there's people who are like psychic that I know of, I'm like, should I keep this one secret, or should I tell everybody, or should I wait till the future and then tell people? Only because I'm like, what if this one's not for every single person who sees this video yet, or I don't know. That sounds crazy. That sounds weird. I don't know. I'm still always working on my philosophy of like why or why not with everything. So it's not like a personal thing, but it's like, what if this one isn't for this person or isn't for that person? Like it's so complicated. I don't know. But yeah, there's people who make like spiritual jewelry. There's people who make like all kinds of stuff. And it doesn't mean I'm gonna do like all those, but like, I don't know. Again, like I think doing some kind of, I would love to do curses for people someday, or do love spells for people someday. Those are the kinds that I feel like, or, you know what? People do like group spells with a certain topic. I feel like I would want to work with certain deities or time lords or both to do those someday, but like I'm not in a rush. Any kind of art people can make, they can do a spiritual version. And then there's like the sort of twin flame side, where there's people who, if they are like in a union with their twin flame, there's people who are just like multi-millionaires because of that and stuff, but like some of their businesses are corrupt, and you can see it in like the news, like, oh, they did this and this and that, and it's like, whoa, like, who are those people? That sounds horrifying. So obviously I would never do whatever really weird stuff they're doing. But like, it is very high vibrational if somebody is in like a union with their twin flame, to sort of turn it into a business. Sounds crazy. That sounds like weird. That's not what I don't mean it in like a bad way. I just mean it in like, or like they're using it, like they're using that person. Like, I don't mean it like that. So like, be grounded, be like smart, don't be like weird. But I think like with the right boundaries, you know. I think when two people put their minds together and they're both like spiritual or into some form of witchcraft, they could like do crazy things. Like, I don't know, if they wanted to unite people with their twin flame, there's a lot of people who do video chats that they essentially charge people for when they do like counseling, but they, each group sort of creates their own practice with that, and then they like mentor people into it, but you'd have to actually be like united with your twin flame and then study for a while, like, why did this work, what caused it to not work, and you'd have to like be really willing to do that and then tell your clients. So a lot of people don't want to be so vulnerable with complete strangers where they're like, oh yeah, so the problem in our relationship started here, and if you run into that, you're gonna do this, this, and that. And they're gonna be like, why? And then you're like, because it didn't work when we tried this, this, and this. Like, that would be like a whole different level of like, multiple people would have to be on the same page to really not have that be weird, you know? So, but it's a concept that happens. And then there's the non-video chat version of people who help people with their twin flame in different ways. And so some examples of that, they will make like digital like documents and courses online that they then are able to essentially sell to people to help them to find their twin flame if they've never met them, or unite them with the twin flame, or make sure it's the real twin flame and not a false twin flame. And so yeah, again, almost name dropping people. Every single business I've listed, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be careful, because if I start name dropping people, then I'm gonna feel like I have to do it for the whole list, and then I'm like, wait, is that okay? That's a lot. That's not what I'm trying to do, but yeah. So there's so many different kinds of options. Again, I think doing spell work, like doing like a ritual for people, doing like, I think it would be cool to do group rituals, but then it would be cool, which of course would cost less than like just one person's like personal spell, but then I think it would be really cool to do, because then you can do like a group ritual on a topic, and you can have essentially something that represents very many individual people, and then they do all pay for it, but it's like a smaller amount technically per person than if it were like just one person's spell. But then you can do so many people at the same time depending on your magic strength. It's like, it's gonna go to all of these people, so many people, and you can do it all at once, and it's still impactful and it still works and all of that. Versus, I would also enjoy doing like, okay, this person wants this one personal spell, but I don't think I would have it so open-ended to where they get to choose details about it. I would have to really go through and essentially like work with myself to plan out exactly which ones I'm gonna do in what way, and what are the ingredients for this, what are the steps for this, and like, is it the same every time, is it intuitive, what's going on. It's a lot. And then of course there's the spiritual businesses where people have sort of like a physical location where they do all of the possible things under the sun that are spiritual in any way, shape, or form, that I'm not going to list off, because you could pretty much find out so many ways. And some of those are great, and some of those are not. And some of those are so amazing, but they have a fatal flaw. And yeah, I just thought of this one time. There was this spiritual business that I worked at for one day only. For only one day. Actually, I worked at Chili's at the time. But this was like after the person I believe is my twin flame already got like fired. This was like well after that. Way after, when I still worked there, which at that point the job was expired for me. Like I probably should have not been there, but I was there, but I was trying to leave. And so I was like, well, what do I want to do? Oh, my mom knows somebody who knows somebody, and somebody out there owns a spiritual store where they sell crystals. Somehow, yeah, get in touch with them, whatever. They're like, oh, of course you can work here. I already know you because of this and that. Like, you can show up tomorrow at this time, no interview, it'll be your first day. But the details I didn't realize were not worked out. Sometimes, some spiritual businesses, you have to be careful because as much as it's high vibrational and nice and amazing that they're a spiritual business, you also have to have your own boundaries sometimes, because they like to do those small business boundaries, and there's almost like a shady side that they don't realize or they don't care about. And they were such nice people. But what happened was they said, tomorrow's your first day, show up at this time. I did like a no call, no show to Chili's, but I didn't get fired. Like actually, they needed me so bad. I don't know why. I actually did like a no call, no show to Chili's. They did not fire me. I just showed up the day after. They were like, oh, you weren't here yesterday. Like, what happened? I was like, oh, I did that by accident. They were like, okay, that's great. You're back. Anyway, because I was like, okay, like, I can prioritize leaving this job that I don't care about and, go to this first day at this crystal shop. I was like, isn't that gonna be so amazing? Wouldn't it be so cool to sell crystals and that's like my job or whatever? Like, even if it's just like organizing the products, like seems like a high vibrational environment. So, of course, day was super boring. Day was organizing crystals by shape and color, and it's just this box of them and printing out little price tags and sticking them on there. And again, it's like no hate to anybody, but I got to the end of the day and at the end of like I don't know, it's probably only like 6 or 8 hours or something, right? Kind of normal. I get to the end of the day, or maybe it was less, I don't know, I don't remember. But I get to the end of the work day. And we had already talked about how much I would be making. That part we did talk about. But it is not till the very end of the day. I sort of find out, they were like, okay, like I sort of find out it was a 1-day work situation, not employment, and that they prefer to pay people in crystals only at the same time. So they're like, yes, like, we're probably not going to see you again for a very long time, but you can go pick out $100 worth of crystals or $150 worth of crystals. I was like, what? Which is great because like I didn't have a lot of crystals, but I was like, had I needed something a little more secure, like now I know that these are the kinds of businesses where sometimes you have to talk more about boundaries. I did not realize, which is what it is. But sometimes your spiritual employment is too good to be true when it is completely run by someone else and they didn't tell you what kind of job this is before it starts happening. Because they might scare you away if they asked you, are you sure you're comfortable with only being paid in crystals? Because in this world, a lot of people eat real food, and like, you're not gonna eat rocks from the center of the earth for the rest of your life. And a lot of people on the planet are not going to be paying rent someday in sparkly objects. They're probably gonna need to somehow convert those to money first. Like, what? I mean, I think they were like, okay, because we didn't tell you, like, technically we can pay you in cash, whatever, but like, so it wasn't like illegal, I guess, but it was weird. It was like there's not like documentation, not proof that you even worked here for the day. Like it was sort of weird. I was like, I didn't realize what was going on, but they were like, well, this is so normal to us. I was like, okay, back to Chili's tomorrow, unfortunately. So I don't know, but those are some of the different types of spiritual businesses that are not at a physical location, and some of the different streams of income I have that are technically not making any money but could be if I were successful out of nowhere for some reason. But yeah. Oh, and one thing that can go very wrong if you try to work at a spiritual business and you don't talk about who is walking out of here with how much money and am I showing up tomorrow before you start. Cute little family business, cute little everything. That is so nice. Like, I'm not trying to drag anybody down or anything. I'm sure that works amazing for them 90% of the time. It just wasn't something to leave Chili's over, and that was the only thing I was really looking for at the time. But anyway, that's just a fun little conversation. I love you guys. Stay safe out there. Have your spiritual business and have your OnlyFans too, or whatever, and have your twin flame and leave your job or whatever if you can. I'm kidding. Make your audiobook. I don't know. Whatever you guys need to hear. Whatever you needed to hear. I hope that was it. Anyway, I love you. Goodbye.